Because you go from being, can you imagine being the baby that is everything in the universe to starting to be this little vulnerable tiny thing. And the first time you realize there are big forces and you're not them.
Whoa.
How incredibly inadequate one must feel if you could give words to it.
That was sick.
I'm David Goggins.
Oh no.
This could also be David Goggins if he was a bit tougher.
Oh jeez. Welcome back, friends, family, and strangers who are soon to be family, to another episode of... Oh, come on. I worked so hard for that.
He went really fast. I could tell he was flowing in it. So, to learn with us, where we find video content that's worth your time, and we learn from it with you.
We do. My name's Eli.
We do. Bars.
And this is my friend Mitch. And today, we're learning from a teacher who we haven't dove into yet. Ram Dass. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Similar type character to like an Alan Watts. Really big, like in the 60s, and that sort of whole movement there of, you know, these consciousness practices coming from India. I think he actually went to India and trained with gurus there and brought that back. He was one of the first really influential teachers here.
It takes us a long time, many of us longer than others, to come up out of the darkness of our feelings of unworthiness, of unlovableness, of allowing that liquidity to happen, of feeling safe to be in the presence of love. When I first experienced my guru loving me, my mind kept flickering with the thoughts of, if he only knew. And then I realized that he did know. And he was still loving me.
Dang.
Ooh.
What a good definition of like unconditional love right there.
Yeah. It's like you can see the whole breadth of what someone is, and you accept that, and that's love.
And the fact that acceptance only comes from being in a loving place within yourself too.
Yeah.
To the point where you're just going to be seeing them for what they are and being like, all the problems with you, those are just these, you know, these abstract judgments we've put on ourselves. And it's like, if you're not looking at this abstract anymore and you're playing with what's here right now, you know.
J. Cole has some bars about this. He says, I believe if God is real, he'd never judge a man.
Yes. And therefore he would understand the ignorance that has somebody beating on their wife.
Yes, the bitterness and pain
that makes a person steal someone else's life.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like, oh, yeah.
That's so that's tapping into the divinity that Ram Dass is talking about. Like, that's not just a guru, this relationship that's normal. It's like, that's a divine thing almost. That should be like, but is human at the same time. You know, got to recognize the connection there. Like between this, because J. Cole's talking about God, and now we're talking about these two people who now have this understanding, Ram Dass and his guru. Because now Ram Dass has this understanding about his guru. And I think that's a beautiful thing how those stories intersect, and it shows our own divinity. Yeah.
Wow, I liked it.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
When you can accept that you are lovable, then the fear starts to dissolve. It's allowing your own beauty. It's allowing the beauty of your soul, which is behind your personality. It's behind all that stuff. Just another radiant bit of light, another soul.
The acceptance, or the, when you see that love or feel that love within yourself, that the fear starts to dissolve. But I think there's a very interesting process, which I find myself in a lot these days, of starting to feel that love and almost getting scared of how much kind of like power and responsibility that brings with it. Because if you start living in love, you don't have the excuses to drink, smoke, party, like eat crappy foods, you know, all of these things all of a sudden become, you start to see how they actually aren't a loving action towards yourself and others.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that's like a hard line for everyone, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
But the fact it elevates how you are going to treat yourself and everything around you. And it is the most freeing state to be in. The issue is, with freedom comes the power of choice. And once you're there, it's like you need to, you know, you need to be ready to surrender to that love, which is a scary thing because we're so used to acting out of fear rather than love.
Yeah, I feel like that can only happen when you absolutely let go. Because if you're trying to cling to these things going on, which we all do, it keeps you tethered. It like keeps you like from having that freedom, the ability to move, the ability to change with yourself. That's an interesting change with yourself.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it does. It does make sense. It does make
explain
sense.
it.
I think a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to evolve and change as we naturally are. Because we are, over a 10-year period, going to go through a lot of change, especially if we're on a spiritual growth path. And keeping ourselves tethered to these things that we identify with keeps us from going through that growth process, changing with ourselves.
At least the pace of it is tethered a lot too.
Yeah.
Like you can imagine, like if those tethers are released, all of a sudden there's exponential
change
of what you can become.
Absolutely.
And as long as you're strapped down.
Yes. And I feel like that's something that I see all the time with family members, is I won't see them for a while and then I'll see them again and they'll want to do the same stuff that we've always done. And I'm like, I've changed so much since you've seen me. I think we should ask each other what we like doing again. You know? Or like with friends.
Very good.
Anything like that, because if we're allowing ourselves to change over time, then you can't expect the same person when you're seeing someone. I feel like that's something to think about.
Dang. Yeah. All right. This is good.
And I think at this moment,
very good.
Nothing violent to do. You just observe the kind of sadness, the feeling of loneliness, the feeling of separateness, the feeling of pain. You just watch it and allow it. And don't get too fierce about it. Or don't feel too deprived about it. And don't know the self-pity of it. You know, just notice that it's just a passing show. It's just another place your mind is grabbing. It's all mind. You realize that. The only thing you're stuck in is not even history. It's just mind. It's a model you have of who you think you are and who you think everybody else is. That's all it is. That's exactly what's causing your suffering at this moment, is your own platforms. And you're clinging to them and saying, this is real.
Ooh. Those are just
truth saying.
I would stamp it. Universal bars. Yeah. I feel like that hits right.
Yeah. Wowee.
Yeah, I mean, just the idea that it is all mind. You aren't tied to your history. You are tied to a frame of mind that you produced, potentially based on history that you've heard about. And then you created this lens with which you observe everything.
I would say that most people in this room, if you scratch the surface, you will find some residual unworthiness from just having grown up on Earth. I mean, it's interesting because you don't understand that the personality itself is rooted in fear and vulnerability. That's where the root is of it. Because you go from being, can you imagine being the baby that is everything in the universe to starting to be this little vulnerable tiny thing. And the first time you realize there are big forces and you're not them.
Whoa.
How incredibly inadequate one must feel if you could give words to it.
That was sick.
That was unexpectedly sick.
Yo, that...
Whoa.
You when you went from being a baby who was the universe to then seeing yourself as a tiny thing that doesn't have power over these forces.
Oh my goodness.
And that then sets up your fear, and with that builds a personality and a self and
scarcity. If you think that you're just this individual that exists alone, and your life begins at birth and ends at death, then you're going to be so scrambling for yourself.
Dude, here's a bar I came up with yesterday while meditating. You know, like, what is evolution is kind of something I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
And is life about competition?
Yeah.
And I came to the thought of evolution is the opposite of competition. It is complete sharing. And the reason why that's true is because, like, we have this idea of survival of the fittest, but even the fittest don't survive.
Oh.
Even the fittest die. And if life was about survival, then why are all these things dying all the time?
Whoa.
And why is the death of one thing the life of the next thing?
Whoa.
As it becomes the dirt and creates food?
Wow.
And you start to think about, is evolution... Are we looking at evolution with the complete wrong frame of competition? Is evolution actually a mass sharing of something far bigger than what we individually could be? Because without all of the microorganisms that make us up, we wouldn't exist. This is a complete sharing machine. You get trees, and then you get things that are inhaling the CO2 and exhaling oxygen so that trees can have more it's nothing without sharing.
Oh, man. Oh, that's real good.
Let us know what you think. I want that challenge. That's like an idea I came to, and I haven't fully gone through, because I came to it last night.
Yeah.
I need people to poke holes in it.
All right. I like that.
So if you got anything.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. I loved that.
Yeah, I loved that too. That was really surprising. I have only seen one video by Ram Dass. Did not know that this could be this awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
Shout
awesome.
out Ram Dass wherever you're at these days. Maybe in our bellies. Who knows?
Who knows?
But dang, what do you guys think? Any other teachers you want to learn with us from?
Yeah.
We're here for it.
We are here for it.
And thanks for being here.
Thank you kindly. Much
love.